Good day everyone. Myself Tripti Mishra. Today we are going to study class 8th chapter number 2 microorganisms friend and foe. This is part 2 in which we will discuss about the microorganisms, where they live, and the microorganisms and us, beneficial effects of the microorganisms. So our first topic is, where do microorganisms live? Microorganisms are actually, they are present everywhere, in the air, in the water, in the desert, in the springs, hot springs, in very cold climate, inside our body, inside the other animals body, inside the plant body, everywhere they are present. Broadly, the microorganisms we can classify in the two types, that is single celled microorganisms and multicellular microorganisms. Single cell microorganisms are the bacteria, protozoa and some of the algae. And in multicellular, which have more than one cell, means multicellular. Likewise, human beings are the multicellular, plants are the multicellular. So multicellular microbes are also, some of the microbes are multicellular. In that multicellular is the algae and fungi. So they live in all type of environments, ranging from ice cold climate to the hot spring and deserts to the marshy lands. They are also found inside the bodies of plants, bodies of animals including humans, inside the bodies of animals and including humans. Some microorganisms grow on other organisms, with those who grow on the other organisms that are called parasite. Already that we have studied in class 7th. Those who are growing on the others body, those who depend on the others, that is called parasites. While others and some of the microorganisms can exist freely. Now our next topic is microorganisms and us. Means here in this topic we will study the beneficial use or important role, beneficial role of the microorganisms in our life. So microorganisms play an important role in our lives. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are harmful and causes disease. Let us study about them in detail. So here first we will study about the friendly microorganism. Friendly microorganisms are used for various purposes. They are used in the preparation of curd, bread and cake. Microorganisms have been used for the production of alcohol since ages. We are using the microorganism for producing all these things. They are also used in cleaning up the environment. They are also used for cleaning the environment. For example, the organic wastes, vegetable peels, remains of animals, feces, etc. are broken down into harmless and unusable substances by bacteria. Recall that bacteria are also used in the preparation of medicines. In agriculture, they are also used for increased soil fertility. So microorganisms are very useful. They are cleaning our environment. One of the important role is they are cleaning the environment. Whatever the organic waste is there, vegetables or or waste of the plant waste and animal waste, every waste, plant and animal organic waste, they are broken down into the small substances, broken into the small substances, harmless substances, and then again they mix into the soil, and like this way they increase the fertility of the soil. It means they increase the soil fertility, and also they are useful for the preparation of some of the medicines, and also some of the bacteria are uses for nitrogen fixation. Now next is making of curd and bread. You have learnt in class 8th that milk is turned into the curd by bacteria. Milk is turned into the curd by bacteria, that is lactobacillus bacteria. Now here Paheli is saying, I saw that my mother added a little curd to warm milk to set curd for the next day. I wonder why. That you also have observed at your homes that your mother is putting some of the curd into the warm milk, and then in the morning we will get all the milk turned to the curd. So that is the beneficial lactobacillus bacteria who turn the warm milk to the curd. Curd contains several microorganisms. Of these, the bacterium lactobacillus, here the name should be learned, lactobacillus promotes the formation of curds. The bacteria name is lactobacillus. It multiplies in milk and converts it into curd. Bacteria are also involved in the making of cheese, then pickles, and many other food items. An important ingredient of rava or suji, idlis and bhaturas is curd. We are using the curd for preparing idli batter, bhaturas dough. We are preparing for, then we are using the curd. In that curd actually we are using, because of there is the presence of lactobacillus bacteria. Can you guess why? Yes, you can guess, because there is the presence of lactobacillus bacteria. Bacteria and yeast are also helpful for fermentation of rice, idlis and dosa batter. Now here there is activity 2.3 in which they are taking the flour, half kg flour, and in that they added some sugar and mix with the warm water. Then a small amount of yeast powder also they added and knead the make to make a soft dough. Then they keep it for 2 hours. Then that is the maida with the yeast powder. Then we will, after keeping few hours, we will see that dough is increased. Dough is increased in the volume. The volume of the dough is increased because the yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. Bubbles of the gas fill the dough and increases its volume. So here why the dough is increased, that reason is that bubbles of the dough, here the yeast reproduce rapidly and produces carbon dioxide. During the respiration they produce carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide gas during bubbles of the gas fill the dough to increase its volume. So this is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making bread, pastries and cakes. Okay. Now next is the commercial use of microorganisms. Microorganisms are used commercially, producing alcohol and so many other alcohol, wine and so many other things. That is the commercial use of microorganism. Microorganisms are used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine and acetic acid. Acetic acid, which is usually in our day-to-day life we are calling it vinegar. Okay, so that is vinegar. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice, crushed fruit juices, etc. And by that we are producing alcohol and wine and acetic acid in the commercially large scale we are producing, which have the different beneficial uses. So that is the commercial use of the microorganism. Now here another activity is there, activity 2.4, in which in a beaker, 500 ml beaker, we are taking water, 3/4 with water and 2-3 spoon of sugar, and we added some of the yeast in that, then and keep it covered for a warm place for 2 to 5 hours, and then now we smell the solution. Thus in the solution, as we smell, this is the smell of alcohol. We will get the smell of alcohol as sugar has been converted into alcohol by yeast. We have mixed the into the water, we have mixed the sugar and also put it the yeast, and because of the yeast started the fermentation and it converts the sugar into the alcohol. That's why after few hours we get the smell of alcohol. The process of this process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as fermentation. That is called fermentation. And this is also important that Louis Pasteur, one of the scientists named Louis Pasteur, discovered fermentation in 1857. That is the scientist. Also you have to remember, keep it in your minds, that Louis Pasteur discovered the process of fermentation. Now next is the medicinal use of microorganisms. There is also the medicinal use of microorganisms. Whenever we are falling ill, we are going to the doctor. Doctors are giving us antibiotics. That antibiotics are also the prepared by the microorganisms. So that is the another use of microorganisms. Whenever you fall ill, the doctor may give you some antibiotic tablets, capsules or injections such as of penicillin. One of the famous antibiotic is the penicillin. The source of these medicines are microorganisms. Source of the antibiotics are actually the microorganisms. These medicines kill or stop the growth of the disease causing microorganisms. These are killing and stopping the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Such medicines are called antibiotics. Means antibiotics are the medicine which kill or stop the growth of the disease causing microorganisms, and their source is actually the microorganisms. These days a number of antibiotics are being produced from bacteria and fungi. Streptomycin, tetracycline and erythrocycline are some of the important antibiotics which we are using in our day-to-day life, commonly known antibiotics which are made by the fungi and bacteria. Now here one more scientist is there. In 1929, Alexander Fleming was working on a culture of disease-causing bacteria. Suddenly he found the spores of a little green mold in one of his culture plates. He observed that the presence of mold prevented the growth of bacteria. In fact, it also killed many of these bacteria. It means the growth of this culture is stopping the growth of bacteria. It means then the Alexander Fleming said that it can stop the growth of bacteria, so we can use it as a medicine which will stop the growth of bacteria in our body also. So it was a sudden discovery by the Alexander Fleming. He observed that the presence of mold prevented the growth of bacteria. In fact, it also killed many of these bacteria. From this, the mold penicillium was prepared. So here we were discussing about the antibiotics, commonly known antibiotics which are made of fungi and bacteria. The antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms. They are by the specific microorganisms. They are manufactured by the specific microorganisms and are used to cure a variety of diseases. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infection in the animals. Sometimes we have to give to our animals are also getting the infection by the microorganisms, and to stop that type of infection we are giving them also some of the antibiotics, and that antibiotics is mixed into in their feed. Okay, so that is also it is mixed with the feed of livestock of poultry to check the microbial infection in animals. They are also used to control many plant diseases. To control the plant diseases also we are using such antibiotics. It is important to remember that the antibiotic should be taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. That is also important, that we should take only and the advice of a taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. Also, you must complete the course. Another precaution is that you must complete the course prescribed by the doctor. If you take antibiotics when you need it or in wrong doses, it may make the drug less effective when you might need it in future. So we should not take the wrong doses. We should take according to the doctor's advice only. Also, antibiotics taken unnecessarily may kill the beneficial bacteria in the body. So that is also the careful, we should be careful that if we intake it much more amount, then they can kill the antibiotics. Unnecessary intake of the antibiotics can kill the beneficial bacteria in the body. Antibiotics, however, are not effective against the cold and flu, because they are not effective against cold and flu because the cold and flu are the caused by viruses. They are not caused by the bacteria, they are caused by the viruses. That's why antibiotics are not effective. Antibiotics are only effective on those diseases which are caused by the bacteria. Now next is vaccines. Vaccines also, as you have as you know, vaccination program is going on, and when the children take the births, after that its vaccination starts, and it is continues for the 10 years or more than 10 years. It is continuous vaccination is there for the children, and that infants and children's. And actually the vaccine are the weak disease carrying microbes which enters the body, and they did not severely infect us, but they produces the antibodies in our body. So vaccination is different from antibiotics. In the vaccination, actually it is not the medicine, actually it is the weak disease carrying microbes. So vaccination here, Paheli is saying, why are children or infants given vaccination? So by the vaccination, the children are protected by several diseases. That's why they are given the vaccination. When the disease carrying microorganisms, when a disease carrying microbes enters our body, the body produces antibodies to fight the invader. The body also remembers how to fight the microbe if it enters again. If dead or weakened microbes are introduced into a healthy body, the body fights and kills the invading bacteria by producing suitable antibodies. The antibodies remain in the body, and we are protected from the disease causing microbes forever. Okay, so once it is the vaccination is there, after that the antibodies are developed in our body, and we are protected by that antibodies forever, or for the lifelong we got the protection, because lifelong that antibodies are inside our body. This is how the vaccination works. Several diseases including cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, hepatitis can be prevented by vaccination. Here we should also remember the name of Edward Jenner, the scientist who discovered the vaccine for smallpox. Next is, in your childhood, you must have been given injections to protect yourself against several diseases. Can you prepare a list of these diseases? You may take help from your parents. As you will ask to your parents, you will come to know that several vaccines, likewise BCG, MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, and so many other diseases like polio vaccinations are there, and you have also taken all these vaccination. If you will ask to your parents will answer you. It is essential to protect all children against these diseases. Necessary vaccines are available in the nearby hospitals. You might have seen the advertisement on TV and newspapers regarding protection of children against polio under the Pulse Polio program. Polio drops given to children are actually a vaccine. A worldwide campaign against smallpox has finally led to its eradication from most part of the world. These days, vaccines are made on a large scale from microorganisms to protect humans and other animals from several diseases. So, that is the use of vaccination, and these vaccines are prepared by the microorganisms, and actually the vaccines are the weak disease carrying microbes which produces the antibodies in our body, and that antibodies stay in our body in lifelong, so we are protected lifelong. The next use of the microorganism is the increasing soil fertility. Microbes also help to increase the soil fertility. Some bacteria are able to fix the nitrogen in the environment. As you know, there is the 72% of 78% nitrogen is there, but this nitrogen is not useful for the plants because the plants are unable to take this 78% nitrogen directly. They want some of the nitrogenous compounds that should be into the soil, and this work is done by some of the particular bacteria that is called nitrogen fixating bacteria from the atmosphere. So they are able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. These microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixators. Here the diagram is there, figure 2.7. 2.7, the nitrogen fixating cyanobacteria or blue-green algae which fix the environmental nitrogen to the nitrogenous compounds. They are found in the Leguminosae families, root nodules of Leguminosae family, and they fix the environmental nitrogen into the soil, and then that plants can use that nitrogenous compounds in their work. So that is also the beneficial bacteria. We will study the nitrogen fixation again in the next video in detail. Now our next topic is cleaning the environment. Cleaning the environment. Bujo and Paheli had observed the school gardener making manure. Along this type of making manure also you have studied in the class 6th how to make the manure. We are digging a pit, and in this we are putting the plant waste, cow dung, and some of the microbes, some of the worms, red worms, and that, and then we cover it for nearby 4 to 5 weeks, and after that as we will open it we will get the very fine manure that is very beneficial for the plants. And actually the microbes are there which are acting on this vegetable peels and the waste material, organic waste material, and converting it into the manure. So here it is the work of cleaning the environment is the work of the microbes. They work on the waste material, attack on the waste material, and divide it into the very small molecules, and then again mixed it into the soil and prepare the manure. So here Bujo and Paheli had observed the school gardener making manure along with their friends. They collected wastes of plants, vegetables, and fruits from nearby houses and gardens. They put them in a pit meant of waste disposal. After some time it decomposed and got converted to manure. Bujo and Paheli wanted to know how this had happened. Here it is the activity 2.5 in which two containers are taken, a container A and B, in which one container A they had put some of the organic waste, plant waste, and in container B they had put polythene bags and glass bottles, etc. So as we will observe later on, we after 3 to 4 weeks, as we will observe it, we will find that the waste of the container A will convert to the manure, because that will microbes can attack on the organic waste and they can convert it into the manure. But the waste on the container B will not convert into the manure, because the waste of container B is the plastic and polythene bags, which are not non-degradable. They will not degrade easily. It takes hundreds of years to degrade. That's why they will not degrade. So, do you find any difference in the contents of two pots? If so, what is the difference? You will find that plant waste in pot A has been decomposed. How did this happen? The plant waste has been converted into manure by the action of microbes. The nutrients released in the process can be used by the plants again. Did you notice that in pot B, the polythene bags, empty glasses, bottles, and broken toys parts did not undergo any such change? The microbes could not act on them and convert them into manure. You often see large amounts of dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. You find that they disappear after some time. This is because the microorganisms decompose dead organic waste of plants and animals, converting them into simple substances. These substances are again used by other plants and animals. Thus, microorganisms can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substances and thereby clean the environment. So, microorganisms are useful to degrade the harmful and smelly substance and thereby clean up the environment. So, this was all about the beneficial use of microorganisms. Next, harmful microorganisms we will study later. So students, if this video is beneficial for you, please like the video and share the video with your other friends. Also subscribe my YouTube channel. I will also provide the link of my other class 8th video in the description box. From there you can watch that videos also. Thank you.